My name is Karlis Apkalns. I'm trainer, I'm consultant, and the thing that quite often trainers and consultants are doing, they tend to explain something, and they do this quite often. They try to predict something, and this is another one thing what they are doing quite often. And the best trainers and consultants are at explaining why their predictions did not come true, or why did not they fulfill. So on this one occasion I will try to be limited on predictions. I will try to be limited on explanations, but I will give you one tool, one particular method, what I am using and what I'm teaching to people already for several years. And this method has helped to get good results and quick progress to businesses I'm involved in, and I hope that they will bring some value to you as well. So, to start with, it's always important to know our history, or people who are working or thinking at the time we're living. So our heroes. Do we know the name of the person who is on this picture? Who is he? Can you raise your hand if you know him? One hand, only two hands, three hands, four hands. So his name is? What is his name? Yes, it's Darwin. And do you know why Darwin is important in modern day management philosophy? And he is important. Any guesses? Okay, we will come to this. Do you know those guys? Who knows their names? One hand? Wow, guys, what's going on? Are you here? One hand? Only one hand? Okay, oh, a few more hands, thank you. Those guys are Google founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin, and quite often they're used as an example of huge, enormous success. I will tell you about one moment in the development of their company that actually do not seem to be a success. So, and the third one guy, who knows what is the name of this one guy? Wow, I'm really happy to see a few more hands. So, his name is? Jobs. No, he's not Steve Jobs. Though I do believe that his legacy may be not smaller, but this may turn out that it may be even bigger than this from Steve Jobs. So, those are three important thinkers, and I will explain why they are important and what they have left to us. So, in order to get to our new management analysis or thinking tools, let's have a quick look in the history. But people tend to say that there are four steps or four stages in the history of management, and business 1.0 is management philosophy that lasted approximately up till 1920, and this was production perspective, or philosophy that said that the most important thing in order to succeed in business is you need to be able to produce. If you will be able to have a product, you will get a success. Business 2.0. 2.0 was approximately 30 more years, and from approximately 1920 to approximately 1950, the overall philosophy was that it's not enough to have a product, you need to have the best product. And if you will have a best product, most likely people will fall in love with this, will pay you money, and you will succeed. As it turned out, approximately around 1950s, this was not enough. So business philosophy 3.0 came that had as their mantra that you need to sell, to sell, to sell, to sell. And if you have strong, efficient sales force, you will be able to sell whatever you have in your hands. If you will not have strong sales force, even good product will not help you. This approach, heavy sales approach, was changed or developed approximately in 1980s to so-called marketing mix approach. And Philip Kotler with his colleagues made a business analysis or business approach popular that said that in order to succeed in business, you have to think about product, about price, about promotion, and about distribution. So again, it lasted around 30 years. So logical question is business 5.0. What is this? And in order to get an answer to this one question, let's turn again back to another aspect of history. Do you know the product? It's carriage. And for many centuries, or even for many thousand years, people were making money and clients were using carriages. And if somebody would say 100 years ago to some master of carriages, you know, your product is going to die in a few decades, most likely those people would say that it's not true, my father has done, my grandfather has done this, and this will never happen. Nevertheless, I'm quite confident that nobody has today come to this event using carriage. Another one example, product called typewriter. Typewriters were around approximately 100 years, and people used them, used for a long time, used for generations. Interestingly enough, in year 2008, journal The Economist published obituary of the last one, repairman, certified repairman of typewriters in New York. And some people are saying that with the passing of this one rare person, the age of typewriters was finished. So this may happen that your product is 10, 20, 50, 100 years or more in the market, but something may change, and actually may change quite quickly. This is traditional photo film. There was a company who had a huge success in the business of photo films. The name of the company was Kodak. And in one point in the history, Kodak had 80% of the world's market of photo films. What was the product that killed all the business of Kodak? It was, yes, of course, it was digital camera. Do you know who invented digital camera? Actually, digital camera was invented by some engineer who was employed, guess by whom? By Kodak. So Kodak was the inventor of digital photo camera, but since they had two good results, since they were too good, their market share was so brilliant, and they earned so huge money, it was too difficult for them to be brave enough to jump off the previous one train and to start to do something next. So as a result, the product that was invented by Kodak actually killed the company Kodak. So every product, by the way, every organization as well, has its product or organization lifetime. It usually starts with some kind of introduction, afterwards the company grows, matures. The thing is, what is interesting, if we would look on the patterns of life cycles of different companies during the last 100 years, what is the overall pattern we see from product to product, from product to product? Automobile, telephone, airplane, electricity, TV, PC, internet, mobile internet. What happens with life cycles? They get quicker and quicker and quicker, and it's always brilliant and nice to be a participant in such conferences and to look at ourselves like we are those young, we are those who will interrupt, we are those who will disrupt. The thing is, on some occasions, even companies who have just started to do their businesses, this sometimes happens that they are disrupted even before they reach the maturity stage. Do you remember the product? How many of you had pagers? Well, quite many hands. What was the life cycle, the length of pagers in Lithuania? 5 years. So long. Really? In my home country, Latvia, this life cycle was approximately, I would say, 2.5 or 3. And one quite pitiful thing is that most likely those guys who invested in the technology, most likely they calculated their payback periods not about 2 or 3 or 5 years. Most likely they saw this as a big innovation, most likely they saw this as something that will be future, and actually the day after the day what they perceived to be a future day came quicker than they wanted to. So quite quickly pagers were eliminated as well. So do you know the relationship of those two products? Yes? Most likely we are the last one generation who knows this. So, let's get over with jokes. So, how to survive in such situation? And here comes the quote by Charles Darwin, and management consultant, one of leading management thinkers of 21st century, Charles Darwin has said that in order to survive, it's not about intelligence. It's not about your resources, it's about your adaptability to change. It is how quickly you can change, and on some occasions how quickly you can change yourself. How quickly, if you have some product, if you have some business, if you have some business model that works, how can you reinvent yourself before somebody else has done this? So how to do this? Good thing is, there are answers and tools, and here come the third one, hero of our today's presentation. And this is a Swiss guy called Alexander Osterwalder, quite often referred to as Alex Osterwalder. And in year 2008, mere 7 years ago, he wrote a book called Business Model Generation. And in this one book, he offered particular rational model and methodology how you can reinvent yourself over and over again before somebody else does this. So business model, it's not about business plan. It's not about a written document or document 30 or 50 pages. It's always done in on one sheet of paper. This may be on one A4 sheet of paper or one sheet of paper, but it always is one sheet of paper, not 30 or 50 pages. And it defines the way how the company creates value to the customers. So what business model canvas consists of? Alex Osterwalder found out that there are only 9 elements you have to get clear about in a business. And if you've done with those 9 elements, you actually can build a business out of almost every business idea. So what are those elements? So here is a quick overview of them. Let's go in details. The first one, foremost important thing is, who are the customers we target? who is the person or what type of organization is the organization that will be our clients. Important thing is value proposition. By the way, when I started to get deeper into the methodology, I asked, why value proposition? Why not product? By the way, one product can bring different values, different benefits to different clients. And it does not matter what your product is, the thing that matters is what it can bring to your client. So business model canvas does not speak about products, but about values. Important thing is how you reach your clients, and this is important in a sense how you reach with information about your business or how you sell to them. Once you have achieved the first one deal, it is important to keep relationships. By the way, this model, it works both with commercial organizations, business organizations. By the way, it works with non-business, non-commercial organizations as well. We can create business model for school, we can create business model for church, we want to create business model for charity organizations. Still, there are 9 elements to think about, and once you will get in order with them, most likely the business will succeed. Most important part of all the businesses, money, money, money. How do you get revenues? And by the way, though it seems to be simple element or simple box, actually there are a lot of different interesting details in this. In every big business, in order to deliver value to your clients, you need some resources. Those may be financial, physical, intellectual resources, or you need to do some activities. And by the way, the question that explains what activities box means is what business should keep in-house. Because everything that business can outsource, it should be outsourced, and it should be outsourced to partners who can support us, who can help us to scale, and who can help us to build business even with very little resources. Nowadays, you do not to be very rich in order to start your business. You do not need the inherited $1 million or $10 million or euros or whatever. Actually, the thing you need is you need understanding what is way you will work. And of course, costs, as in business it happens, costs should not exceed your revenues. So, what can you do, or what can you analyze, what can you see through the lens of business model canvas? In the history of company Google, there is a point when Larry Page and Sergey Brin went to company Microsoft, and they were interested to sell Google to the Microsoft. Do you know what their expected price for the whole company, 100% of all the shares? Do you know what the price was? It was $1 million for the whole company, and the response from management of Microsoft was no, we will not buy Google for $1 million. Do you know why? Microsoft did not know how to get money from the clients, so they said your search algorithm, it's very nice, it's very fine, but it's just toy. How can we make business out of this? So Microsoft did not know how to monetize this business, and that is why they refused to buy 100% of shares of Google for $1 million. And the rest is history. This logotype usually we relate it with cars, but another one business, and actually bigger business for Rolls-Royce, is aircraft engines. Do you know how Rolls-Royce is getting money for their products? Little hint, they do not sell aircraft engines to aircraft producers. They charge money for flying hour. And interestingly enough, aerospace industry is one of the examples where business cycles are very steep and quick, and this may happen that you are not able to produce as much as is needed, and next year this may happen that you have zero orders. So you cannot plan and predict your company's work if you sell engines to aerospace companies, aircraft building companies. What happens with flying hours? It's almost straight line, +2%, -2%, +2%, -2%, and result of this one, change of way how the company is monetizing their products, brings 100% predictable, stable business. Do you know what those three letters stand for? International Business Machines, that is how you call the company. How many machines the company produces? 0 or almost 0. The company International Business Machines does not produce business machines, but they still bring the same value to the clients. The value or promise to the clients was that your machines, all your office or company equipment, will work smoothly together. So how IBM is delivering this value to their clients, or this promise to their clients, they're still assuring that everything works smoothly for their clients, but they offer business consulting, but not machines. Most likely you know this logotype, actually quite popular logotype in Lithuania and in Latvia as well. Interesting example is this one logotype here in Vilnius. Do you know the place? Do you know the cafe? Interestingly enough, Statoil is still serving their clients, but actually one biggest part of their business is not fuel anymore. So they're looking how they can widen their business and how they can widen their business models. And I think it's very nice example, a nice example on Vilnius streets where you can see that with the things, with the products, with the services, with the resources on your hands, you can deliver interesting, attractive, and sometimes even surprising business models and surprising business results. So business model canvas, how it helps. You can look for new products and business lines. You can use this in strategic planning sessions. You can ensure that business language or terminology among your business units is unified. And behind this initial basic model or approach or methodology, within 7 years there is a list of different very practical tools developed how you can do those tasks and many others. So, Business 5.0 is different. We do not use smart objectives anymore, or we use them not as much as we used to do them. Quite often this happens that something in the business environment influences your results so strongly that on some occasions you get the result, you get the objective without any effort, or sometimes you can do a perfect job, but still some market conditions can stand in your way. So smart is not enough. A few years ago people were doing benchmarking a lot. So we find some sample company, we think what is a very clever company, so we're trying to mimic or to duplicate results. The problem is within 2 or 3 or 5 years when you will reach those results, most likely this company will be in a totally different place with totally different results already. So the environment is changing so quickly that quite used and popularly or universally accepted method of benchmarking does not work anymore. Business plans. Business plans used to put forward some objectives. We need to achieve this objective or this figure or that. The thing is, more and more often, it's not enough, because if you have an objective to grow by 20% or grow by 50%, it says nothing about how you will either achieve or why you will fail to achieve that objective. So the approach that is possible through business model canvas is to say, today we're in this one point. So this is our business model for 2015, and our strategy is to change our business model within 2 or 3 years to have, I don't know, bigger scale model or higher value model in somewhere in segment with higher potential. So nowadays business is not about persistence. It's about failing fast. And how you can fail fast? You can do different models. And you can do this quickly on one sheet of paper. You can create several different business models, compare them, choose which one you believe is worth enough to try to implement or to test it. And if you do not succeed because of some variables, just make another business model and go along again. So what to start with? In order to be creative, you still need some framework. So even cats are asked not to think out of the box. So in order to be creative and efficient and quick, you need some system you stick to. So I do believe that Business 5.0, what requests high speed, high adaptability, easy way of communication among professionals and among departments, it can be found in business model canvas, where there's practical set of tools introduced in 2008 by Alex Osterwalder in book Business Model Generation. So together with my colleagues, I work with companies, established companies, startups, sometimes even not startups, but technologies that are looking for ways to commercialize their product. And a lot of information is online. Actually, you can find a big part of this information online without assistance of any consultants or without assistance of any trainers. However, on some occasions, there is some help or some assistance may help you move quicker along the process. So if you can find this of value to you, I and my colleagues are open to support you with your business models, with your business ideas. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karlis. Questions? Do you have questions for Karlis? Because if you don't have a question, I have a questions. And I don't know which one is going to be worse. Business model canvas, it's very, very important tool. And it's also very, very important when used in interactive way with customers. Can you just elaborate this a little bit?
One of the most important things definitely is customer, and no doubts about it. And on several occasions, different customers with the same product can bring totally different outcomes. One client of ours made in Latvia, they made a technology how they can cure not bones, but what
tendons. Tendons?
Joints.
Joints.
So based on stem cell research, they made technology what can help to cure joints. And interestingly enough, they tried to make a revolution for human medicine, but it turned out that in order to get the medicine or technology approved, they needed 7 years and $2 billion. They had neither 7 years nor $2 billion, so their next step was to look where else they can find clients for this, where there would be not 7 years and $2 billion. So they found out different client business segment of race horses, race horses. The animals are very expensive. They bring money to their owners, and if you own the horse, you can do whatever you want. You do not need some approval procedures. And interestingly enough, guys spent 4 years researching this business model and developing this one business model. And in one of our trainings, we had a feedback session, and feedback session was in written form on post-it notes. One small post-it note, and there are 4 letters and question mark. The 4 letters were dogs and question mark. In order to reach race horses market, it's very small, very narrow, and quite far from Latvia or from Baltics. Just having different perspective on your client segment. For example, you could use the same methodology with dog. It's not as expensive. Maybe the owners will not be ready to pay as much. However, they're here nearby. There are many of them, and maybe it's easier to jumpstart the business. So on some occasions, just choosing different client segment you work with can totally change the way you develop and succeed in your business.